Hey, Fuji! 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 Fuji. Look what Fuji sent me. Look at this nice shirt they sent me. They shipped it in extra fat just for me. Wasn't that nice of Fuji? Of course, you could have sent me a camera. No, just kidding. I thought about giving this shirt away, and I was like, whatever. I wanted a Fuji shirt. I'll wear it, you know. It's actually very comfortable. Thanks, Fuji. Yeah, I know, I'm crazy. Whatever. A lot of people ask me this question, how I have my Fuji and on the menu settings on the X Pro 2. Well, the menu is different on the X Pro 2 and will be on the XT2. These options are all identical between like the XE2, the XT1, the X Pro 2, the XT10. You know, how you have your camera set up is kind of like underwear. You know, it's whatever fits your junk the best, right? But there are some things that are very unique, and I'm going to mention those things because you probably don't have them set on your camera. And one of them is, of course, shoot without the lens. You know, one of the best things going is getting like cheap Nikkor glass. Get a $100 Metabones adapter for God's sakes. Get some cheap glass. And click Shoot Without the Lens on in your shooting menu, number 3, at least on the XT1. Another important thing is manual focus assist when you go to peaking. And focus peaking, like indoors like this, not an issue. I'll actually have it set for white or high. You actually have the option for white. I've never used or liked low setting. I mean, that really... I see why it's there, but I don't need low versus high. If you're outdoors, you're like shooting a beach scene or something like that, white is not very helpful. I actually prefer to switch to red, like in high contrast. High key shooting outdoors, I'll switch to red high. So that's one thing to remember on manual focus assisting, that you have 3 different shooting options. Another really important thing, and this is on shooting menu 5 on the XT1, but it's on most of your Fuji cameras, the X Pro 2, the XT1, XT10, is interlock, spot, auto exposure, and focus area. What the hell does that mean? And that means in spot metering it will interlock where you actually have your autofocus point set with the exposure. So spot metering, got my camera in spot metering. I can go to interlock spot area autofocus turned on, which I always have it turned on. And when I actually choose a point, wherever that point is also where the spot meter point. Like on Nikon and other cameras, there is no interlocking of your autofocus point with the metering. You have to meter for one area. I mean, you're not going to be using a light meter in general for most outdoor shooting. You are in a tripod landscape photography, at least you should be. So I'll actually choose the midpoint that I want to set for my exposure, and I'll interlock for that. And if I need to recompose a little bit, as long as it doesn't shift out of my depth of field, that's fine. But that is an incredibly handy feature. So look up on it, read about it, and it's a feature I just about guarantee that you do not have turned on your Fuji that you should, and that is exposure and focus area interlock. In other words, you've made not only your autofocus point, interlocked with your metering for spot metering, and that is incredibly useful. So that is how I have my Fuji X. Everything else is kind of irrelevant, dinky stuff. Obviously, I'm only shooting in RAW plus fine. That's actually another really important thing. Why should you be doing that? When you're chimping on your pictures, if you don't have a RAW plus fine set up, then all you're looking at is a small JPEG. Unlike Nikon, for example, but on Fuji, here it's important to be shooting RAW plus fine, because when you're going to go and chip on the picture and check the resolution at your point of autofocus, you can't really get in there nice and tight unless you have fine selected. So I shoot fine plus RAW. It's really the only way you should be shooting, to be honest with you. Some people may want to argue with me on that, but not when it comes to previewing the pictures. It should be fine. I mean, if you want to shoot only JPEGs, which I think is an abomination, you know, that's your business. But if you're going to be shooting RAW, shoot RAW plus fine. So that is how I have my Fuji X-T1 set up, and I can't wait to get the Fuji X-T2 with a vertical grip, because I will be on that like a dog on bacon, like a pervert in a porn shop, and cannot wait to get the Fuji X-T2. So I've already got my pennies and nickels saved up for that little camera. Be the first bitch on the block with the Fuji X-T2. Well, at least the run of the released one. It's not a prototype that does not have yet perfected firmware. So anyway, thanks for watching, and shout out to Fuji and all the Fuji fanatics out there. Okay? Okay.